This book has real science and realistic technology.
Hey!
What are we in? June. There's a packed house of science fiction books being released this month. I'm interested in the ones that have a particular science and technology angle, plus any end-of-the-world or post-apocalyptic topics, just because I kind of love end-of-the-world books. It's a thing. I think it means I've got a problem, but hey. So here's my curated selection of new book releases this month. Oh, and because this is the first of these science fiction book roundups, I'm also including some top titles from May last month. Let's start then. Sublimation by Isabel J Kim. See, whenever I see an initial like that, it makes me really curious about what it actually stands for. Jasper? Maybe? I don't know. But not curious enough to go and actually look it up. It's an itch that isn't quite itchy enough to bother scratching it. Sublimation is set in a world where emigrating literally splits you in two. One instance crossing the border and one staying behind, sharing a past up to the moment of departure, or severance, one might say, and then diverging into separate people. So young Rose Kang, the main character, or characters, left Korea at the age of 10 and never spoke to her other self again until a death pulls her back, and she finds the instance who stayed is planning to take over her life. No. The novel is expanded from Kim's short story. Homecoming is just another word for the sublimation of the self. And yeah, Sublimation is a better title. Yeah, so this one actually looks good. Seems like a clean thought experiment on identity, copying, and personhood. There are two copies of the same person, and is deleting one murder. Yeah, so there you go. You don't need to read it now. There's already been a lot of comparisons with Severance, of course, but I can see how this is different, because it's not so much one body with two minds, but two bodies with two minds. Through the scientific magic of cloning, in this case. Interesting one though, yeah, because if the mind is cloned off, it diverges, then is that basically the same person now, just gone two separate ways? The answer is no, because the moment they diverge, then their experiences are different. They've, like, within the next moment, they've become two separate people. So yeah, not quite the same as, oh, there are two twins, or there are two genetic clones, or there's one clone and one original. Are they the same person? Genetically, yes, but in every other way, no. So there you go. Next up is a book by Joseph Eckert called The Traveller. An ordinary commuter slips forward in time, first by a day, then in ever-doubling intervals. It's like 1 day, 2, then 4, then 8, every morning at 7:52 until weeks, and then years vanish in a blink. His wife and son try to hold their lives together, while Scott, the main character, is just gone for ever longer stretches and sets out to understand his condition by studying quantum physics. So obviously this is clearly a riff on the old what happens if something goes exponential trope, one-way time dilation as a personal catastrophe. In terms of science then, the book also has a hook into relativity, time perception, and the maths, the mathematics of doubling exponential growth. The protagonist literally turns to physics to explain himself. Explain yourself to explain the nature of his existence. This is also Joseph Eckert's debut novel, as was the previous one actually, Sublimation by Isabel J Kim, also a debut novel. Debut British science fiction titan. He is quite a titan. Peter F. Hamilton brings us 2 sequels this month. He's been busy. I've met him on a couple of occasions at science fiction writing workshops. He won't remember me. It's fine. He is a top bloke though. The first of Peter F. Hamilton's sequels then are The Captain's... Actually, are they the first? June? Yeah, both June. Okay, so the first is The Captain's Daughter, which is book 2 in his Arkship trilogy. The main character, Hazel, and a reawakened command AI have repaired Daedalus, the vast generation ship carrying the last of humanity on a centuries-long journey to a new world through a... So class this as fantasy, to be honest. Outer space. But she must convince her people they aren't alone aboard. The Yi, spelt Y-I, Yi, an alien species, have made the ship their home, and those in power don't want to hear it. So this is a sequel to A Hole in the Sky, Arkship Trilogy Book 1. So really classic hard SF generation ship stuff, which means, of course, that there's a closed ecosystem, engineering, there's a shipboard AI, because when is there not, and multi-century interstellar travel and social decay aboard a world ship. Good. I actually love generation starship stories, even when the inevitable twist is that they never actually left Earth. They're just in a giant warehouse somewhere just outside London, near Slough. Actually, to be honest, honest, authors, if you're writing a Generation Starship story, please don't make that the twist. It's awful. And also, don't make it so that they're really all in a big virtual reality universe. They're all sleeping. They're already dead. Something like that. Actually, that would be quite neat. Do that one. Yeah, quite like to read that. So, Peter F. Hamilton's second Part 2 novel of this month is Exodus, the Helium Sea. It's set in the Exodus universe and actually tied to the forthcoming video game. So, tens of thousands of years after humanity fled Earth for Centauri, in Generation ships, another one. Woohoo! They're now contending with new arrivals from Earth, while an exiled faction, long in waiting, moves to strike. The main character, Finn, and his allies race to recover ancient artifacts that could decide the conflict. This basically concludes the arc. It's clever. It's an arc. And it's an arc which began in Exodus, the Archimedes engine from 2024. So again, we've got the Generation Starship elements, we've got deep time interstellar civilizations, relativistic long timescale travel, and heavily modified post-humans known as Celestials. Nothing to do with Marvel though. And yeah, so basically a kind of a vehicle for far future human evolution and talking points around astroengineering. So if you're a science and technology fan, this should be a good one, but probably read the first one first. Next up is, it's another spacey one. Gosh, okay, lots of fantasy this month. The Sixth Nik by Daniel Kraus. This is from Saga Press, an imprint of Simon & Schuster in the US, and can't see a UK release for this one. Oh no. Anyway, far out in space, aboard the Sickness, a ship woven from... Why would they call their ship the Sickness? That's just ridiculous. And that, unless it's ironic, by that they mean it's good, it's rad in some way. I don't know. Anyway, far out in space aboard the Sickness, a ship woven from biomatter that reacts to its crew's needs. 9-year-old Cecilia, her brain enhanced by implants called Niks, N-I-K-S, investigates what is it? Accent over the E, was it? Fame? Fem? I don't know, Fem. A plague-riddled metal planet that has gone rogue. I keep slumping. Try not to slump. It's bad for the back. A hacked robot starts to believe that Cecilia is its daughter. The robot's gone mad. The ship itself is mutating and possibly pregnant. Okay. Yeah, so this one then, what's the science technology angle here? It's biotech and biopunk, I guess you could say. Living biomatter ships, like space whales. Really. Cognitive enhancement brain implants. Each space whale is probably about the size of whales. Cognitive enhancement brain implants, body modification, and metal planet. Oh, it's being marketed towards readers of Ian M. Banks's culture novels and Ursula Le Guin as well, which I can see that. Also, there's very much body horror, given that Daniel Kraus is actually also the author of Whalefall, which is obviously set inside a whale. Not really a good place to suddenly just find yourself trapped. You might think, just try not to do that. So yeah, also he did win the 2026 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction with Angel Down, but this is Kraus's first SF novel. Reactor, the website, ran an excerpt. Kirkus gave it a bit of a mixed review, but did note inventive world building. Next up is something which is a bit lighter from Adrian Tchaikovsky. It's never a month. It's not a month if there isn't a new release from Adrian Tchaikovsky. My gosh, the man is prolific. So this book, Green City Wars, is set in a solar-powered future where humans live in luxury, served by unseen little helpers, and these are genetically engineered, kind of uplifted, artificially enhanced animals who maintain the perfect green cities under one rule: don't bother the humans. Beneath that calm runs an animal underworld of crime and politics. Scotch, a freelance raccoon PI, takes a case to find a fugitive mouse scientist. Dr. Meese, I'm actually liking the sound of this already. Powerful forces would kill for Dr. Meese's secrets. Dr. Meese's actions could break Rule 1 in the most apocalyptic way. That'd be bad. So essentially, this is touted as Philip Marlowe meets Redwall. Science and technology angles in this one, obviously genetic uplift, animal cognition and bioengineering, plus the ethics and economics, really, of an uplifted animal servant class. Yeah, if we can no longer have slaves, just uplift animals to human-like intelligence and make them the slaves. Hey, yeah, so pretty great. There'll be all sorts of just moral quandaries to unravel in this book. Given that this and The Sixth Nik both have biotech elements to them, they'd actually make a good reading pair. This one, of course, is going to be a lot lighter with kind of a noir comic tone to it. Next up, a couple of end-of-the-world / post-apocalyptic books. As I said at the start, I'm really quite the sucker for end-of-the-world stories. I just find the bleakness oddly appealing. I think because it bags up all the messiness of real life and puts it out with the trash is great. until you realise there's nobody left to collect the trash. But then that's the unsettling part, isn't it? First up, The End of Everything by M. John Harrison. Oh man, I'm a big fan of M. John Harrison. His books mix in strong aspects of the weird, along with elements of Gnosticism, which I rather like. So I'm including this one, even though it isn't exactly hard science fiction. It's quite hand-wavy, but it looks frankly phenomenal. Just haven't read it, but I already recommend it. His books are so good. So the synopsis: years after an obscure crisis changed everything, some guy, the main character in the novel, now makes up his living at the tide line in the UK, collecting artifacts that wash up from the channel. The government barely functions, the seas are full of new creatures, and Europe has been mislaid. And then, just as he's settled into this new life, he fishes out an object that he can't keep, a creature that keeps changing, which he must carry inland before it destroys everything that he thinks he knows. The science and technology in this is deliberately oblique. Harrison withholds the mechanism of the catastrophe, so in that sense this is soft, atmospheric, literary science fiction rather than a hard science technology explainer. It sure does appeal though. Reviewers so far have been framing this as a satire on contemporary Britain, with the gentrifying or attempted gentrifying of coastal towns and institutional collapse overall. We are seeing rather a lot of institutional collapse right now. Just everything in the UK is just going wrong. Things are breaking down. Where's all our tax money going? Don't get me started. The reviewers are also comparing him to John Wyndham and J.G. Ballard, just so it's high praise, to be fair. Yeah, it's a mood setter, definitely, this book. It's going to be highly atmospheric. So looking forward to reading it. Notably, M. John Harrison actually won the Arthur C. Clarke Award for his book Nova Swing, which, winner of the Can you see that? Sorry, put it in front of my face. Yeah, M. John Harrison, winner of the Arthur C. Clarke Award. This book is Light, which is part of the Empty Space trilogy. Let's turn it round and focus you. There you go. See, just down there. Nova Swing is the second book, which I haven't read yet. I've read Light. It's awesome. And it's literary science fiction and just so weird in a brilliant way. This one it's a fairly old book that had a recent re-release. That's The Course of the Heart. And this is one that has a lot of kind of Gnostic elements in it. Lots of mention of the pleroma, for example. Absolutely great. I didn't properly get it when I read it first, so I think that's due a reread, just to give it its due. And he also won the Goldsmiths Prize for The Sunken Land Begins to Rise Again, which I haven't read yet. It's on my list. I've got so many books to read. So how the hell am I going to get through them all? The second End of the World book is Ashland by Matt Harry. This was actually released last month, at the start of last month, 4th of May, worldwide. I think in the UK and the US and, I guess, worldwide. The premise of this one then, 2 years after self-replicating, flesh-eating microbots known as the Ash, and also called Xenobots, they escaped a French lab and killed 20% of humanity in the space of a month. So after that, the survivors quickly moved to indoors and just sealed themselves off. You would, right? They only go outside if they're wearing hazmat suits. Or if they send a drone, which was going to be my first question. Why don't they just send drones? But they do. As to the story, ex-cop turned drone bounty hunter. Okay, they bounty hunt their drones. They send out the drones, and then they send out drone bounty hunters to hunt the drones. That doesn't sound very healthy. Anyway, ex-cop turned drone bounty hunter Kai Braddock must finally go outside when his partner is murdered while helping to locate a missing scientist. This book is essentially dystopian detective noir, which sounds like a great combination. In terms of science and technology, self-replicating xenobots or microbots. So I guess not quite nanobots, but yeah, it echoes like real xenobot research, the grey goo adjacent runaway nanotech. Grey goo being the idea that these self-replicating nanobots would just run rampant, out of control, converting everything, all matter, until the entire Earth would just be a big pile of grey goo. Then just everything after that would be like claymation, morph, strikes again. Within this then, there's drone-mediated living and engineered food systems. Cricket protein, I definitely wouldn't like that. And be careful with that stuff, it's not good for you. And there'll be other stuff. They could figure that out, surely. Just don't go straight to the crickets. Don't eat bugs. They're bloody horrible and they're bad for you. And they're icky. Humans are not meant to eat bugs. Anyway, they do, in the book, they also have vertical indoor farms. So what's this about the bugs then? Just leave the bugs alone. The author has separately written about researching real food production methods for the book. I should hope so. I think he may have reached the wrong conclusion there, though. He's also the author of Sorcery for Beginners, which sounds like fantasy. Call me perceptive. What else have we got? There's a book by Martha Wells, Platform Decay, which is number 8 in the Murderbot Diaries. I read book 1. I thought it was a bit silly, a bit contrived. Didn't grab me, to be honest. And it was only a novella, so luckily I didn't spend too much time on that. Oh, Radiant Star by Anne Leckie. I did read the first of Anne Leckie's Imperial Radch books and really liked the abrupt recontextualizing. Try not to spoil anything, but yeah, there's an abrupt recontextualizing later on in the book. Spoiler. Yeah, overall from that first book, big reveals and the overall setting that actually makes the big reveals work. It's clever. Book 2 lost me a bit. Just lots of stuff about making tea, but this standalone book could be a return to form. That said, it's actually the 6th book in the series. We're told that it can work as a standalone, but you're better off just reading the original trilogy first, and only read book 2 if you're really fanatical about tea services. The book is set on the icebound backwater planet of the religious site, the temporal location of the Radiant Star, is an inconvenience to the Imperial Radch. Amid a worsening food shortage, riots, and a communications blackout from the rest of the Empire, the authorities order Radch food additive Skell into the water treatment plants with predictable unease as several lives collide. Again, this one isn't so much hard technology, hard science fiction, but it's also a genuinely interesting systems/infrastructure thread. Water treatment, food security, and public trust in engineered systems. One reviewer, a water resources engineer, drew the Flint, Michigan parallel. And that's about it, really. Probably talked for quite a long time. A lot longer than I intended to for this video. So I'm thinking that I will probably do a monthly roundup of science fiction books along these lines, where there's a strong science and technology background to them, or if it's post-apocalyptic, because I love that stuff, or closed environments as well, whether it's a generation starship, or just, I don't know, people living in caves, that sort of thing, where it's all sealed off. That stuff's great, because it really ramps up the tension, because obviously there's no escape. Everyone's just in there together. They just got to try and get on however they can. And when they don't, that's when the drama really kicks in. So that's about it. Thank you so much for watching for this long. If you want more of this sort of thing, please do get subscribed. As you can probably see, I'm trying to vary it up a bit with the topics that we cover on this channel. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe I should be a bit more focused on a few topics. But hey, I hope you enjoy whatever content that I put out. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Do leave a comment. What books have I missed? What are you looking forward to reading out of the new releases? Do you like new releases? Or do you prefer to just read the older books? Like me, to be honest. I love 70s and 80s science fiction. Oh, 50s and 60s as well. I'm rambling. Till next time. Cheers. Bye.